Hi there. This is another episode of Treasure Valley NIA Quick Tips. What it is I'm a franchise owner of Network and Action franchise, which is out of Houston, Texas. I was number 27. Now we have 148 across the country and around the world. And it's just we we are super passionate about helping businesses network with each other. And so I have three groups, and through that, I meet a lot of business owners that are just experts in their field, and I bring them on the show to kind of share their expertise. So today's a perfect example. Cody, introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Cody Ebbers, owner of Hunter Rain Gutters here in Boise, Idaho.
Awesome. So gutters, like how'd you get into gutters?
Well, it's kind of a funny story. I was a handyman for some property management companies, and I was doing all kinds of different things from remodels to building pole barns to replacing carpet, fencing, building decks, you name it. And so I was kind of a master of all trades. And I ended up getting on with a company called Leaf Filter. They're a big national
Oh yeah.
corporation,
Oh yeah.
and they installed the filters on top of the gutters. And so I got on with them just to fill in spots in my schedule. And they had all the work you could ever want. And so I started doing more and more work for them. They liked my quality of work. I was good at dealing with the homeowners. And so they just said, hey, if you buy a gutter machine, we will give you all of our gutter jobs. And I had
Wow.
actually never installed a gutter up to that point. But I said, okay. So I borrowed $3,000. I drove to Seattle, Washington to buy my very first gutter machine. I didn't even know what one looked like up to that point. I bought, I bought a
Love
30
it.
plus year old gutter machine, brought it back, and the next day I was trying to figure out how to use it and started installing gutters, and that's just what really took off. The rest is kind of history. Doing a lot of jobs all over Idaho, Washington, and Oregon, getting it figured out. We've done thousands of jobs, and then I started hiring some people, and bada bing, bada boom, here we are.
Wow, that's great. Love it. Yeah, it's like and then also you've done a pretty good job because uh right before I got on, I checked out your Google reviews. How long you been in business?
So 5 years now doing Hunter
Oh
Rain
yeah.
Gutters.
Yeah, 162 five-star reviews.
Yeah, yeah, we work hard for those.
That's a great job. I just say, a lot of times, like, I bring on different type people, and they're all experts in their field. But sometimes people are going to really say, "Well, who cares about gutters?" So
Yeah.
first off, I never really thought about it till I talked to people like you. But my house is 5 years old and I bought it, but I I love my gutters. I
Yeah,
they have chains down.
beautiful.
They just give a curb appeal. I mean, I don't know. I didn't think about it until I talked to people like you, and I was like, wow, the gutters really they do their job. And so my question is, are those because I've been here for who knows over a decade, but are those even good with the chains on them?
Yeah, so rain chains are good. They're more for aesthetics. They have that. They do add that curb appeal. They look really
Yeah.
nice. I would say they do need to be maintained a little bit more. They do
Okay.
clog up a little bit easier with that rain
Okay.
chain reducer you have at the top there. But yeah, they look great. And if they're installed properly, they can handle all the ice that's going to build up on them in the winter time. And so you could have
Yeah.
some really cool looking
Yeah.
icicles hanging
I
from your.
yeah, whenever the Snowmageddon thing, I'd have to go out there and bang the
Yeah,
ice off of them, because
yeah.
I was thinking it was going to pull them down. But anyway, other than that, I just love them. Like I said, I don't know, like I just know that, again, gutters are gutters. So, um, uh, one thing is like we were talking about the leaf guard things and things like that. So do those things, how effective are those? Are the
Well,
gutter guards, is that what they're called? And not that
yeah.
just overall?
Yeah, so there's gutter guards, they call them gutter filters, gutter covers. They come
Okay.
by a bunch of different names, and there's over 215 different kinds and styles of them.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
so a lot of people have a hard time. Do they work? Which one do I get? How expensive are they? And so we've tried a lot of them. That's how we even got started, was with a company that just installed filters on gutters. So we have a lot
Right.
of
Right.
experience in the area. And there's, like I said, 215 different kinds and types. Most of them don't work,
Wow.
or they're overpriced. So we found two that work really well. I actually have a sample here I can show you. If you can see this, this is a powder coated steel mesh. It kind of has some
Oh,
large pores on it. This is going to be your cheapest option that actually holds up really well over time, and it's great for large debris, broadleaf trees,
Yep.
acorns,
Yep.
that kind of thing, tennis balls. You'd be amazed at some of the things you find in gutters. So this is a cost-effective way to be able to protect your gutters. They don't do good with pine needles, and that's a big problem. So roof grit and pine needles is a big issue that we have. So we actually have this, which is a stainless steel micro mesh filter,
Right.
and it comes just totally flat like that. But what we do is we put it in a handbrake machine, and so I don't know if you can see this little bend we have in the back here. So we measure each and every gutter. We put the perfect bend in the back so it snaps into place. And what this allows us to do is create a little bit of an angle on the gutter like that. So it's going to sit in the gutter like that. Whereas most products, they just create a flat shelf for debris to build up on top of, and then your gutters aren't working. So we're able to install this with an angle.
Oh, that's great.
Allows debris to naturally flow off. And it's such a tight pattern that even, mosquitoes and wasps are a big problem in gutters. They can't even get through that product. So that's going to be a more premium product. Like I said, that's really good for roof grit and pine needles and all kinds of other small debris. And the product itself actually has a 40-year warranty. So it's a really high quality product.
So that goes into the warranties. So are there warranties through the manufacturer, or both?
Yeah, so that 40-year warranty, that's from the manufacturer.
Okay.
And then with all of our filter installations, we offer a 25-year workmanship guarantee.
Okay.
That's one thing that we found a lot of companies were not offering was, they're offering material warranties, but if something fails in your gutter system, now it's your responsibility to call the manufacturer, explain the situation, and try to get them to figure it out. Whereas we will take care of all of that. So we offer obviously the manufacturer's warranty, but we also offer a workmanship guarantee.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really what people want, because you don't want to, someone installs your gutters and you call them up 3 years later and they go, "Oh, hey, that's not us."
Yep. Not my issue.
Yeah, call the manufacturer. 1-800, I don't care.
Yeah. So we'll take care of all of it.
Cool. So I kind of know part of the answer, but not but so why do you even need gutters?
We actually get that question asked all the time. A lot of people they don't have gutters, and it's just draining onto the ground, and that's all fine and dandy. Gutters do more than just add curb appeal and add kind of the earrings on your house, if you will. They kind of button it up, but just the functionality of them, they're the first line of defense on your home besides your roof. So all the moisture hits your roof, snow, ice, water, and that all comes down. The gutters are your first line of defense to capture all of that water and to transfer it wherever we want to transfer it to. And if you don't have gutters, all that water is going to be seeping into your fascia and your soffit. It can get on your siding, so it messes up fascia, soffit, siding. We do some siding repair. We refer out a lot of siding jobs because people for years didn't have gutters. They don't really think about it or notice it until several years go by. Their paint's peeling, their siding's expanding. Also, lots of windows. A lot of times they'll have a roof just draining right into a window. That's going to break your window and cause water intrusion. Sidewalks and foundations. Especially in the wintertime, the sidewalks are really bad. You just have water pouring on the sidewalks, and it's going to create a skating rink, which is not good. New construction houses, they just put around here in this area anyway. They just put the smallest amount of gutters possible they can, which is just over doorways or anywhere where there is a sidewalk. But a lot of these new construction houses, when they dig out the foundation, a lot of times they'll even dig like a 5-foot over dig, meaning that they dug out room for your foundation 5 feet away from where your foundation is. And so then they backfill all that material, but it's not compacted like it was. And so when you have water just running off, you think it's just going into your yard, but it's just seeping into where they had dug out and flowing right back towards your foundation, which causes foundation issues. And when you get those, as that causes all kinds of structural issues. So, and as far as price goes, and the functionality and what their purpose is, gutters are the cheapest option that do the most protection for your home.
See, and That's something I never, that's why I bring people like you on, because again,
Yeah.
you just don't know anything till you don't know. You think, gutters are gutters, because I actually heard from somebody that, um, anyway, this has been a year or so ago, but anyway, their sidewalk like was starting to cave in, and it's
Yeah.
because they didn't have a gutter and it was leaking out underneath their sidewalk. And then what did I find out? Because I had my driveway replaced, and then I had some issues with the person that did it, that they broke my sidewalk. So,
Oh,
and I'm in Nampa City, so I call it Nampa City, and they say, "Oh, by the way, you're responsible for the care of your sidewalks." And I'm like,
no.
"Oh boy." So anyway, that ties back into the story about, your gutter. You go, "Oh, screw it." No, here in Nampa, I mean, if that happened, you have to pay to get it fixed.
Yeah, absolutely. And it can be pretty costly, just the lack of having gutters or just having water in general going where it's
Yep.
not supposed to go. I mean, it's
Going
a
in your
very costly thing.
Yeah, yeah, to say again, this is why I bring people like you on again, because they just so people understand that it's not just gutters. Like you said, the protection of your house. I mean, that's yeah, you got your roof, then you got your gutters,
Yep.
and so how do you maintain your gutters? So we come and we go to Hunter Ring gutters, and we get brand new ones put on today, and then I go, don't have to worry about them because I got a 25-year warranty.
Right,
So,
right.
so what how do you maintain them?
Yeah, so they do need to be cleaned out. They're going to collect
Okay.
anything that lands on your roof. We have so much dust in this area that, every time it rains, you notice your car is super dusty. Well, all that dust is
Yep.
on all the roof grit. Your shingles are losing grit. And so they do need to be cleaned. Now, some areas, some situations, a lot of new construction, they have tiny trees, so you're not getting a lot of that. So some houses, I would recommend at least looking inside them once a year. Call us out. We'll come look at them
Okay.
for you, no cost. Other areas in more established neighborhoods, large trees all the way around. Those, we have some houses where we maintenance them 4 times a year. Even some commercial buildings, we have to
Wow.
maintain 4 times a year just because of the amount of debris that builds up in the gutters.
Wow. See, again, that's something I wouldn't have never known. Um, and so when you're gonna go, you guys got like a boatload of 5-star reviews, so obviously you're doing something right. So what about somebody like they say a person with a truck
Yeah,
says,
yeah.
"Hey, I can do those gutters for you for pretty cheap." So I mean, how do you, um, how do you vet out a good cutter company?
Well, there's two questions I would ask them first and foremost. One, like we had mentioned earlier, was about, if they're good, they're going to at least offer you, at least tell you about the material warranty, right?
Okay.
And we're all getting that same material warranty. I would ask them about their workmanship guarantee. What we're finding out more and more is that a lot of companies aren't mentioning anything about a workmanship guarantee. So whereas we have 3 different series. We have a 5, 10, and 25-year workmanship guarantee, depending on the package that you buy.
Right.
And that's something that we stand behind. So I would ask them about their workmanship guarantee. And then I would also ask them, now this is going to sound a little funny, but do they use a level while they're installing gutters? We're finding out more and more, and just by all the houses that we go to, that a lot of companies, you can put a gutter on a house and kind of use your eyeball and think, oh, like it looks like it's sloping. It looks like it's
Right.
sloping the right way, so the water is actually draining. Um, you'd be amazed at how many people do not use a level. So I would ask them, and then I would just take a glance while they're out there installing and make sure that they are using a level and not just kind of eyeballing it and sticking something on your house that's not gonna work once they're done.
So there's a good question that I again never thought of is, I guess if the gutters were completely level, I mean, how do they work? I mean, so if they're completely level, the stuff might just sit there. Do they have to slope a little bit? Is that the key?
Yes. Yeah. So
Oh,
so
see,
so
I
you
never knew
want
that.
yeah, you definitely want them to slope. A lot of some companies, especially around the country, as I'm talking to other gutter companies around the country, they don't get a lot of rain. They install gutters perfectly level. They look great, especially if you have a really long straight run. They look
Right, right.
great. And the idea is you just poke a hole in it, add a downspout. Now there's a hole in it, and that's all great and fine if the gutter's 100% clean and free from all debris. But you add a little bit of debris in there, and all of a sudden you have issues. So you definitely want to add a slope to your gutters. That also helps in wintertime when they back up with ice.
Yep.
When it starts warming up, all that melts and it just gives it a nice area to exit. So sloping them helps get the water away efficiently. It also helps when you do have a little debris in there. Also, just creating a little bit more of a flow of water that helps wash out some of the debris. So you
Yeah,
definitely
that
want a little slope.
I see that makes total sense. I mean, again, I would not know anything. I would have, someone comes to all gutters, I would have thought, oh, look how straight they are. But
Right.
you're
Yeah.
right. There has
Yeah.
to be. I mean, you're right because especially, if there's a bunch of junk going in there, you gotta drain that stuff out. So, huh,
Yeah. And what
wow,
we run into a lot is, a customer calls us out and they have a gutter. It wasn't installed very long ago, and it looks great on the house. But and whoever had installed it, they just put it up to where it looked nice and it looked like it should function. Uh, but when we actually put a level on it, we see that it's actually sloped the wrong way, away from the downspout. So it's collecting all the water on the opposite end of the gutter as opposed to going out the downspout where it's
right,
supposed to go. Because a lot of houses they settle over time and they kind of move around a
yep,
little bit. And so what visually looks good when you put a level on it, you'll see it's actually not functioning at all. So it's really important.
yeah. I guarantee. Well, you know how it is. If you're know what you're doing, you just think you're gonna make some extra money on the side and put up some gutters and stuff like that. I guarantee they're gonna put it on level.
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
or again, not eyeball it and then have
Right.
it not be right.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. We see it all the time.
Uh so what you uh, so what here's a good example is so you covered a lot of this stuff, but people that try to like do it themselves and stuff like that is the benefits of going with people like you is just again, and then you can kind of add to this, but now that we've kind of gone down here, is that I'm thinking people are going to try to do it themselves, so they go somewhere, buy some gutters, and put some gutters up and stuff, and they listen to this podcast and they go, but um, again, it's just all those little things add up. Is that kind of what you say when you can do it, and then also the fact that if there's something wrong with them and they can't figure out what's wrong with them, they can, I mean, if they have the workmanship guarantee, they can always call you guys out there, your team, and to come out and fix it. So do you guys here's the way I'll ask it is, does your team go out to people that have like put it in themselves?
Yes. Yep. So we run into that quite a few times as well. There's a lot of people that are really handy, and gutters itself, like the whole idea, right? It's not rocket science. It's a simple
Yeah.
concept: catch the water, get it to drain out.
Yeah.
Not that
Yeah.
difficult. But actually, first of all, you need a seamless gutter machine if you really want the best product for the least maintenance. You need an actual machine that prints the gutter out in seamless sections.
Okay.
And so your typical homeowner is not going to have access to one of those. And even if they did, there's all kinds of little details along the way that just make the most, they're super important. What kind of hangers are you using? What kind of screws are you using? What's the spacing on those? What is the proper slope for this section of the gutter? How much roof space do you have? And how many downspouts do you need? What size of gutter do you need? It's just all the little details along the way. It's a basic idea, but there's actually a lot more that goes into it to make it actually work 100% correctly.
Well, you got me sold.
Yeah.
Because the more you talk about, it, I'm like, going, man, there's just too much moving parts. So, and again, like you're saying, and again, I heard that the horror story about wrecking their sidewalk.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I'm telling you that you just got to just get them in right, spend a little extra money and get it in right. So,
Yeah.
hey, um, so this has been great. Thank you very much for it. And so, if somebody's trying to get, and I'll have all the information of best way to reach out to your team and stuff like that. But what's the best way to get a hold of somebody if they wanted to have you guys come out and take a look at their gutters?
Yeah,
Or
they can Google us, Hunter Rain
okay,
Gutters. They can read through our reviews and just call us straight from there. They can go to our website, hunterraingutters.com. They can call our phone, 208-747-0641.
good job.
Or they can reach out to me directly at Cody, CODY, at hunterraingutters.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Cody. this has been great because again, it just reinforces that a lot of times people just don't know what they don't know when it comes to stuff, and they don't know the importance of having stuff done right on their most people's biggest investment, which is their home. And it's like, you know, same thing, roofing, any of that type of stuff.
Yep.
You're gonna get yourself in trouble by trying to get somebody that doesn't know what they're doing because you're gonna end up spending. I'll end it. I don't know about gutters, but I'll give you a good example is um, I had somebody that's a forensic flooring inspector. He's known goes all across the country, and he was telling about how you vet out flooring companies. And so I post the podcast, and a friend of mine that's out of state said, Scott, I had somebody that I tried to go cheap, and it cost me $30,000
Yep. Yep.
because
Yep.
they failed. The floors failed like after a year. So
Oh yeah.
anyway,
Yeah, a lot of people, their biggest hang up is the price. And look,
yeah,
I totally get it. We're trying to be cost effective as we can here.
yeah.
At the end of the day, an improperly installed gutter is just as bad, if not worse, than having no gutters at all.
Wow. Well, perfect. Well, thank you very much. This has been another episode of Treasure Valley NIA Quick Tips. And until next time, thank you, folks.